The discovery of America in 1492 by Christopher Columbus is considered one of the most significant moments in world history. While indigenous peoples had lived in the Americas for thousands of years, Columbus' arrival initiated a new era of exploration, colonization, and cultural exchange. His journey, although aimed at reaching Asia, ended with the discovery of a continent unknown to Europeans. The effects of this discovery shaped not only the Western Hemisphere, but also the rest of the world. By the late 15th century, Europe was undergoing a period of transformation. The Renaissance had sparked a renewed interest in science, geography, and global exploration. At the same time, the Ottoman Empire controlled much of the land-based trade routes to Asia, particularly the Silk Road. This made access to Asian goods, such as spices, silk, and precious metals, increasingly difficult and expensive for European nations. As a result, European monarchs began to seek alternative sea routes to the lucrative markets of the East. Portugal had already taken the lead in maritime exploration, especially under the guidance of Prince Henry the Navigator. Portuguese explorers ventured down the coast of Africa, hoping to find a sea route around the continent that would lead them to India. However, another route was being considered, one across the Atlantic, based on the theory that the Earth was round and that Asia could be reached by sailing westward. Christopher Columbus, an ambitious navigator born in Genoa, Italy, in 1451, was captivated by the idea of reaching Asia by sailing west. His calculations, however, were flawed, as he underestimated the size of the Earth and the distance between Europe and Asia. Nevertheless, he was confident that a westward route would be shorter and more direct than the one around Africa. For years, Columbus sought funding for his proposed expedition. After facing multiple rejections from Portugal and other European monarchs, he finally gained the support of Spain's Catholic monarchs, King Ferdinand and Queen Isabella, in 1492. They agreed to finance his voyage, providing him with 3 ships, the Nina, the Pinta, and the Santa Maria. On August 3, 1492, Columbus and his crew set sail from the Spanish port of Palos. After about a month at sea, tensions began to rise among the sailors. Many feared they were on a doomed voyage, with no land in sight. However, on the night of October 11, 1492, a lookout on the Pinta sighted land. The next morning, Columbus and his men disembarked on an island in the Bahamas, which Columbus named San Salvador. Though Columbus believed he had reached the islands off the coast of Asia, he was, in fact, in the Caribbean. Over the next few months, he explored parts of what are now Cuba and Hispaniola. Columbus remained convinced throughout his life that he had discovered islands near Asia, not a new continent. Because Columbus thought he had reached Asia, he referred to the indigenous peoples he encountered as Indians, a name that would persist for centuries. Despite the vast cultural differences, Columbus and his crew traded with the native peoples and gathered information about the land.